Shoot. Hi, I'm the Moorlander and this is Moorlander EDC. Coming to you today from the inside again. Unfortunately, it is raining like mad, cats and dogs outside. That obviously doesn't usually put off a hardy outdoors kind of guy like me, but unfortunately that camera doesn't work very well in the rain, so you know, I had to do it inside today. But what we're going to be looking at today is the Casio GA-2100. Or the CasiOAK. It's been referred to, a lot of people refer to this as the CasiOAK. Full disclosure, you know, I purchased this with my own money. This wasn't a review unit that was sent to me. I've lusted after this watch for a long time, okay, and this is the hard truth. I've read all the reviews, I've probably watched every review on YouTube for this, even the ones that aren't even in English. I've watched them, I've done everything. I've done my due diligence to make sure that, you know, I wanted this watch. I've overhyped it myself. Hype's a strange word really, isn't it? It's just like luck, you know, hype is what you make of it. So I try not to use the word hype, even though I did use the word hype. I built this up to be quite the watch that I wanted, and after some time I invested in it. But unfortunately, it's just not the watch for me. So I'll turn the camera around so that we can have a little bit more about the watch and we can see the ins and outs of it, and I'll tell you a little bit more about why, you know, it just didn't suit me. I tried not to do negative reviews. That's not my reason for making videos. This is a great watch and it will suit somebody's wrist that is out there. Unfortunately, it just didn't suit my wrist. So whatever negatives you might think that I'm trying to describe, they're only negatives for me. And now I'm rambling, but hopefully, you know, yeah, it'll all make sense. Okay, so I'll turn the camera around, let's take a look. Okay, so I think what is probably best is we'll start off with a tour around the watch. We'll go into some of the specifics of it and then go into some of the reasons that I've just mentioned as why I'll probably be returning this. Well, definitely be returning this. Okay then, so measurements wise, the face measures 48 millimeters, or like 48.5 millimeters from lug to lug. From left to right it measures 45.4 millimeters, and as far as the thickness is concerned, it's only 11.8 millimeters. The case is made from resin, or at least the outside. So the bezel that you can see here, this is all made from resin, which, you know, let's just face it, it's a posh word for plastic. But as you get with a lot of G-shock watches, you know, this is what makes this tough. On the inside, or at least on the back here, whether you can see this, you can see that there is the plastic molding around the outside, and then here on the inside you get this extra little section here, and this is the carbon core. So the actual case for the watch that the module is held within is made from carbon fiber, but the exterior parts here are made from a hard wearing resin material. The strap is completely made from resin. It's quite a nice malleable strap. It's not one of those old-fashioned tough ones. You do get some little bits here which can dig into the wrist a little bit. However, you get that a lot with these G-shock watches, and then you then have a steel or a stainless steel clasp here at the end. You have a single keeper. Around the watch you have 4 activation buttons, and then there is a screw here. The screw doesn't actually keep the straps on. The straps have these quick release mechanisms in them, so if you want to remove the straps you can do. What dominates the front is this octagonal face. You have a really nice analog movement on the front there. There was something I was just what I was going to mention. Oh yeah, the glass. Sorry, the glass is made from Casio's mineral glass. So there you go. So just some extra things to point out here. Hopefully you can see the hour indices. They have these really beautifully large hour indices on there. There are also minutes on the inside of those as well, which look really nice. On the left hand side here, this is a date clock, or at least a date indicator. A date clock, sorry about that. There's a date indicator on there, and then in the bottom right hand corner here, there are some digital functions. There is a little bit of a difference with this. I think this could possibly have been used better. Here's a watch check. Today I'm wearing the GA-2100. The little dial on here shows you the function of the watch that you're currently in, whereas on the CasiOAK it has the days on there instead, or what day it currently is. Now, the main reason that this rose to fame, when talking to Casio about it, you know, they say that this octagonal front harkens back to, or takes inspiration from, the DW500C, which had their first kind of octagonal bezel on there. That came out back in the 1980s, so this is what they say that it's inspired by. A lot of people refer this to as the CasiOAK, mainly because of the Royal Oak timepiece, which again has that really nice octagonal bezel. The original Royal Oak also had 8 screws that went round it, and you can get some stainless steel or metal fascias that you can. A lot of people have been modding these, which again have that really nice screws all the way around it to really kind of accentuate the fact that it does take a lot of inspiration from the Royal Oak rather than the DW500C. The functions, and the difficult part is trying to get this in the best light. So here down in the right hand corner, if I can bring this a little bit closer, is it better that way? So what you have at the current time is that you can see the date and the seconds that are in there. Pressing the mode button then takes you through each of the different functions within this section. So it currently is on, the second function is world time. Sorry, I seem to be going a little bit out of focus there. So we then have world time, so you can cycle through each of the destinations. The next function is a stopwatch, very similar to other watches. You know, you've got start, stop, reset is up here in the top left hand corner. Onto the next function, which is a timer. Again, start, stop, reset. If you want to adjust the increments, or at least at the moment it's set for 10 minutes, but if you wanted to adjust that so it was just 1 minute, you'd hold down on the adjust button and you'd be able to do that. It moves on then to, wrong button, sorry. It moves on then to alarms. You have 5 functional daily alarms. You also have the option to having an hourly time signal. I love the hourly time signal on Casio watches. I really don't know why other companies don't do it. Last but not least, it then circles around to time. What you have in a lot of Casio watches is you have those beeps so that you know once you've got round as well. So if you can listen out. Oh. See, so you know when you've got back to its normal function. At the moment, it's showing the dual time, so you can see the time that it is here on the face with analog time, and then you also have a secondary time down in that bottom right hand corner. If you use this button, you can then change that to the date if you want to, or if you choose to. Sorry, this just keeps going out of focus. Being able to change the time is very simple. You keep your finger down on adjust here up at the top, and what you'll notice is, hopefully, is you'll see that all of the hands move out of the way to make sure that it keeps all of these hands out of the way so that you can use this bottom right hand corner. When you're setting the time, you set the time by the digital clock here, which then makes sure that when you've confirmed everything and you turn it off, or at least turn off the adjust mode, the hands will replicate whichever the time is down here in the digital readout, which makes things a hell of a lot easier. There is also a light function here in the top right hand corner which you turn on, and there's the ability to set whether you want that for a second or 3 seconds when it turns on. It's actually quite nice to be able to do that. A lot of Casios have, or at least the G-Shocks have, the light as a separate option here, similar to this one where you press it down here at the bottom right hand corner, but that really would have messed up with the aesthetic of this beautiful face. So I understand why Casio decided to, on this model, have the light option here at the top. So there you go. I mean, as far as function is concerned, it functions a lot like other G-Shock watches. What you're probably waiting to hear is the main reason that I'm sending this back. And as I mentioned at the beginning, the decision to send this back, it was a hard decision for me because I'd looked at this watch an awful lot, and I'd read all of the reviews, I'd watched all of the videos, and I'd made the decision that yeah, this really is the watch for me. I'd looked at all of the different variants, so there are quite a few. This one has all of the indices in here are white, but there also is a completely all black version. I went for this one over the all black version because I thought, you know, I'd just being able to check the time in the dark would just be a little bit easier. There's also a really nice version that is completely green. All of the straps are a nice kind of OD green. The side part of the front fascia here is OD green as well, but it then still has this black section here. Just going out of focus, sorry about that. I do apologize about that in this video. I really did like that one. There is also another really nice one which is black. It's exactly the same as this one, but instead where this octagonal face is here, it has a kind of a green camo to it. And again, you know, I struggled. I really did want to find the perfect watch for me. I'd looked at all of the different combinations. It arrived. It arrived to me in the usual box. It comes in the standard kind of G-Shock tin. I started to take it out, and it just dawned on me that it's just a little bit smaller than I was expecting. Now, as I say, I'd read the reviews, I'd even looked at the specifications, I knew the size of the watch, but it just felt smaller in my hands than I was expecting. For some of you, that might be an advantage. So when you have this on, because it is only 11.8 millimeters thick, it has a very slim and a very low profile when it's on your wrist. If you work in an office and you concern yourself that watches do catch on your shirts on a day-to-day basis, so if that is something that concerns you, it's great for that. It's very low profile, but for me, it just felt small. And then I put it on my wrist. So I have 7 3/4 to 8 inch wrist. I've been quite lucky in the fact that the last few watches that I had, as I say, this GA-2100, it fits perfectly, and I've got an extra bit of space here that it's fine. My watch, or at least my wrist, I don't know if you find that you get the same, but my wrist swells a lot during the day, whether I'm hot or whether I'm cold. So I do change the size of the strap quite regularly. This is at the loosest that I would have it. So if I got a little bit colder or I'd been outside, then I would put it a little bit tighter, which is perfect. I've also been lucky in the fact that I wear this original... Let's get focused. There you are. I wear this original G-Shock Mudman a lot, which fits my wrist perfectly because it has an extra. It just feels longer when it's on the wrist. It also seems thicker, which for the CasiOAK, it's quite. I mean, it tapers down, but it feels as though it tapers down a lot. So when I have this on my wrist, I'll show you a video now rather than actually putting it on. I'm on the last few, it just, then to have the keeper on there, having had wrists, or at least having had wrists in the past, but having had watches in the past that are designed for a smaller wrist. And now when I say smaller wrist, I'm thinking about 7 inches or less. This comes out a lot, you know, it flaps around a lot. It just becomes a chore to wear, and that was the thing in my head that I needed to get right. Wow, I sounded quite emotional there, didn't I? But I feel like I'd built up quite a lot of emotion towards this watch. This is the watch that I'd been, and I use the term lusting after, because I genuinely had been lusting after this watch. I put it on my wrist, it just didn't fit me. That's not to say, however, that this is a bad watch, and that's what I mentioned at the beginning. Now, this is a great watch, and this will suit somebody's wrist. Unfortunately, it just doesn't suit my wrist, and that's the reason, unfortunately, that I will be sending this back. Is there anything that I would change about it? I always get to this point and I always ask myself, is there anything that I would change about it? And there is definitely. This strap, and it really does come down to the strap. The strap needs to be a good inch longer. I'd also make sure that it doesn't taper down as much. They could have left this with, say, an extra few millimeters to make it feel like it's on your wrist, to make it feel like it's there. For me, again, you know, I'm talking about this a lot, but these are the reasons that it felt small. Because of my large wrists, the face also felt small as well. Now, it's not that much smaller to some other watches that I've had. It really isn't. It's very similar, but those extra few millimeters, again, it just felt small. So there you have it. I generally have struggled. I've struggled with this watch more than any other watch. If you're like me, I suffer with crippling buyer's remorse. Whether it's buying a new TV, extending my mortgage, having to purchase a new car. So having something that I'd really looked at and done a lot of research, and it come to me and it just didn't feel right. It just didn't sit right on my wrist. There was just something about it. It just, you know. So when it comes to things like buyer's remorse, for me, I slept on it, checked it the morning after, and it is a cracking watch. It is a beautiful watch. I get it. I understand why people flock to this watch. I understand the hype. Again, I hate to use that term, but I understand the hype that's been built around this watch to make it so popular. For me, it just didn't fit my wrist, and that's the reason that unfortunately I'll be sending this back. But it does mean, you know, I'll have some extra cash, so I'll buy some other things to review on the channel, which will be great, you know, every cloud. There are some affiliate links in the description below that go to Amazon. If you choose to use those affiliate links, that'll be great. I get a small kickback to my channel. I'll try and put as many affiliate links in there as possible. You know, there are some to the US Amazon and there are some to the UK Amazon as well. If I have other viewers, you know, if there are some German viewers, if you'd like some of those affiliate links, then I'll try and see if I can get some of those as well. As I say, it all helps to fund my channel and to get more gear like this to test out. There are some other links in there as well. If you like this video, please feel free to hit the like button. If you're a returner, then feel free to hit that subscribe. Share my content. I love it if you could share my content on whichever social media outlet you're on. That would be awesome. Look for me on Instagram at Moorlander_EDC. I'm also on Facebook as well, but I generally tend to be on Instagram a little bit more. And yeah, so for now, stay safe, stay Moorlander, and stay EDC. Shoot. Hi, I'm the Moorlander, and this is Moorlander EDC. Huh. I did the breathe in thing again. Why do I do that? Why? Calm. Shoot. Hi, I'm the Moorlander. I've done it again. Why? Unit or anything like that. I need to tell you the truth, and the truth is, and that is, no, I'm gonna have to start again. Doing the breathe in thing again. What is that about? Just breathe, don't be a knob.